Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we re-delving into the life of one of Africa's most complex and controversial figures, Robert Mugabe, a man who began as a celebrated liberation hero and ended as a widely condemned dictator. His story is a powerful lesson in how the pursuit of power can corrupt even the noblest of beginnings. So, how did the teacher and revolutionary become the tyrant who brought a nation to its knees? Let's find out. Robert Gabriel Mugabe was born in 1924 in what was then Southern Rhodesia, a British colony. From a young age, he was known for his intellect and quiet determination. Growing up under a system of racial segregation, Mugabe experienced firsthand the injustices of colonial rule. This ignited a fire in him, a passion for education, and a deep-seated desire for equality and independence for his people. He earned multiple degrees, including several while imprisoned, a testament to his incredible discipline and thirst for knowledge. His early years were shaped by the struggle against a system that treated Black Africans as second-class citizens in their own land. This foundational experience is key to understanding the man he would become. In the 1960s, Mugabe's political activism intensified. He co-founded the Zimbabwe African National Union, or ZANU, a nationalist group committed to ending white minority rule. His powerful rhetoric and unwavering stance against the colonial government led to his arrest in 1964. He would spend the next decade behind bars as a political prisoner. But prison didn't silence him, it transformed him. It was during this time that he solidified his Marxist ideologies and planned his revolutionary strategy. Upon his release in 1974, he fled to Mozambique and emerged as the leader of the ZANU-PF's military wing, directing the guerrilla war, known as the Rhodesian Bush War, against Ian Smith's government. This was the period where Mugabe the freedom fighter was forged, a hero in the eyes of many Africans fighting for their freedom. The war was brutal, but it ultimately led to a negotiated settlement. In 1980, the nation of Zimbabwe was born, and in a landslide victory, Robert Mugabe became its first prime minister. The world watched with hope. In his early years in power, Mugabe was praised internationally. He preached a message of reconciliation, famously urging Black and white Zimbabweans to turn swords into plowshares. He invested heavily in education and healthcare, leading to some of the highest literacy rates and best public health systems on the continent. For a time, Zimbabwe was seen as a beacon of hope, a model for post-colonial Africa. It seemed like the fairy tale had come true. The hero had won, and his people were on the path to prosperity, but this honeymoon period would not last. The first dark signs of what was to come appeared in the mid-1980s. In a brutal military campaign known as Gukarandi, Mugabe's government unleashed the North Korean-trained 5th Brigade in the Matabiland region, a stronghold of his political rival, Joshua Nkomo. The official reason was to crush dissent, but it resulted in a massacre of an estimated 20,000 civilians, mostly from the Ndebele ethnic group. This was a chilling foreshadowing of the ruthlessness Mugabe was capable of to consolidate his power. The world largely looked away, and at home, fear began to replace hope. The hero was starting to show the cracks of a tyrant. As the years went on, Mugabe's grip on power tightened. He amended the Constitution, creating a powerful executive presidency for himself in 1987. His initial policies of reconciliation faded, replaced by an increasingly authoritarian style. He surrounded himself with loyalists, suppressed political opposition, and cracked down on the press. The dream of a democratic, prosperous Zimbabwe was slowly turning into a one-man show. Economic mismanagement and corruption began to creep in, eroding the gains of the early years. The hero was now a king, and his kingdom was beginning to crumble. The year 2000 marked the definitive turning point. Facing waning popularity and a growing opposition movement, Mugabe launched his infamous land reform program. The plan was to seize white-owned commercial farms and redistribute them to landless black Zimbabweans. While the goal of addressing historical land inequality was supported by many, the execution was chaotic and violent. Farms were invaded, experienced farmers were driven out, and the land was often given to political cronies with no farming experience. This move shattered Zimbabwe's agricultural sector, once known as the breadbasket of Africa. Food production plummeted, leading to widespread famine and the beginning of a catastrophic economic collapse. The consequences were devastating. Hyperinflation spiraled out of control, reaching levels so absurd that the government was printing $100 trillion notes that were virtually worthless. Shelves in shops were empty, unemployment skyrocketed to over 80%, and basic services like water and electricity became luxuries. Millions of Zimbabweans fled the country, creating a massive diaspora. Mugabe, however, blamed the West, particularly Britain and the United States, imposing sanctions on his regime as the source of his country's woes. He positioned himself as an anti-imperialist champion standing up to Western powers, a narrative that still resonated with some, even as his people suffered. Despite the economic ruin, Mugabe clung to power through a combination of patronage, fear, and rigged elections. The 2008 election was a prime example. After it appeared he had lost the first round to his rival Morgan Tsvangirai, a campaign of brutal violence and intimidation was launched against opposition supporters, forcing Tsvangirai to withdraw from the runoff to prevent further bloodshed. Mugabe won the election, but his legitimacy, both at home and abroad, was in tatters. He became a pariah on the international stage, a caricature of an African dictator, known for his lavish birthday parties while his people starved. The end for Mugabe came not from the opposition or a popular uprising, but from within his own party. In 2017, at the age of 93, he made a critical miscalculation. He fired his longtime vice president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, in a move seen as clearing the path for his wife, Grace Mugabe, to succeed him. This was a step too far for the military establishment. In November 2017, the military placed him under house arrest. In a swift, bloodless coup, his 37-year reign came to an unceremonious end. The man who had dominated Zimbabwean politics for decades was gone. The streets of Harare erupted in celebration, a surreal echo of the joy that had greeted his rise to power 37 years earlier. Robert Mugabe died in 2019 at the age of 95. His legacy is one of the most polarizing in modern history. Was he a genuine liberator who lost his way, or was the seed of tyranny always there? He empowered his people through education and freed them from colonial rule. But he also presided over mass murder, destroyed a vibrant economy, and subjected his nation to decades of fear and repression. His story is a tragic one, a cautionary tale about the corrupting nature of absolute power. It reminds us that the line between hero and villain, between liberator and oppressor, can be perilously thin. What do you think? How will history remember Robert Mugabe? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video insightful, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the figures who shaped our world. We'll see you in the next one.